And welcome once again to another Delphian School webinar. You might want to know why we're dressed up like this today.
This is just my everyday outfit. Okay, not totally so. We are having another virtual spirit week here at Delphian, so that
Yay!
our students and alumni and parents that are out and approaching this quarantine in the way that they are can join together and have some community. So yesterday was Star Wars Day, May the 4th, and you know, Marty and I started off our webinar with a good old-fashioned lightsaber fight.
That's right.
Which I totally didn't lose. I didn't lose.
Didn't win either.
You didn't have to say that. Today is Superhero Day, and Marty is dressed up as one of the greatest superheroes of all time.
Our doctors and our first aid people that are helping us get through this crisis that we're going through. I salute you. You're our superhero.
Yes, thank you guys. And I, in a similar vein, am the Doctor from Doctor Who. And I think that he would be very proud of what the medical professionals are pulling off these days, keeping everything under control and keeping everyone serviced. Tomorrow is Nerd Day, so it's going to be hard to tell me apart from anything that I normally wear. Thursday.
I got my pocket protector ready.
Thursday is going to be throwback to the 80s. So wear like 80s clothes and bright primary colors and flashy stuff. And then Friday is Wacky Friday, wearing just kind of whatever crazy, zany, interesting outfit you can come up with. I have no idea what I'm going to do on Friday. So
I could be like this all week.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. I'm glad some of you are signing in. If you have any questions or comments, please use the Q&A option. Today, we're going to be talking about the five senses. It's roughly based on the Five Senses book from Heron Books. And of course, the five senses are taste, touch, smelling, hearing, and sight. And so we're going to be talking mainly about seeing. And the theme for today is seeing is not necessarily believing. There's this expression, seeing is believing. I don't know about that. We can start off with something nice and simple here. I have this balloon. You can see the balloon here. Yes, you can see the brightness from the balloon. And of course, there's nothing behind it.
It is a green balloon.
It is a green balloon to go with a green screen. We are not actually circling the Earth. And so if I turn this around, I taped onto the side a box of toothpicks, but you can see it now.
But that tape appears to be floating on thin air. Very thin air, because we're orbiting the Earth up here.
Yes. Anyway, seeing is not believing. So
I believe it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little about seeing. So I have the model of the eye. We talked about the eye in one of the previous webinars. And so the light comes in here through the hole in the pupil, and then there's a lens, and then it focuses on the back of the eye. But you notice there's this part over here. This is the optic nerve. This is the part that takes the information from the photoreceptors. Photoreceptors just means light receptors, the cells that you have that see light, and it just transfers that information through this optic nerve. Optic means having to do with the eyes, and the nerve goes to the brain. But what if what you're focusing on focuses right on the optic nerve? We'll see what that is in just a minute. James, would you bring up the first slide, please?
With pleasure. Bum, ba, da, bum, ba, da, bum.
So here are the photoreceptors. You have different kinds of photoreceptors. You have these rod cells in the back of your eye, and they're the ones that just will see light and dark and different shades of lightness and darkness, but they don't really see colors. Those are the cone cells. You have three cone cells, the red, the green, and the blue, because those three colors of light combine to form any color there is. They combine to form white, actually, all three of them. But then the yellow, the green and the red can form a different color, and I think that's an orange. Is that an orange? Or
Like an orange, like a yellow.
Yellow, orange.
I should have brushed up on my like basic colors before coming to do this one with Marty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, these are the cells you have in your eyes, in the back of your eye, right along this back edge. Okay. Now, you have something called a blind spot. Now, a blind spot could be something in your car where your mom or dad is driving and they're looking in the mirrors and they don't see a car, but there's a car there because the mirrors don't really see everything. That's a blind spot, but there's another blind spot I'm talking about, and that is, bring up the next picture, please. Oop. Yeah, that next one, picture. There we go.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is bring that up so your nose is right smack in the middle where the green meets the yellow. And then you close one eye, and then you look, for instance, at the circle. And you move this up and back. At some point, you can see, if you're looking at the circle, at some point you could see the plus sign, and at some point it disappears. Same thing with the other eye. Have it right in the middle, and at some point, you want to try that?
Yeah.
At some point, if you close one eye and you look across at the other side, at some point, if you bring it forward and back, the circle or the plus sign disappears. That's because that's because what's happening is the image is landing right where that optic nerve is going into the eye, and it has no photoreceptors.
That is cool.
So
it disappeared. It was gone.
It disappears. So photo is just light, and receptor means it gets something. So a photoreceptor gets light, and some of them, the rods, just get the shades of light, how light or not light, dark it is, and the cones get the color. So now we're gonna.
Well, I'm gonna keep leaving this up for a minute so that our viewers can do this experiment with. And I hope this works on the screen that you guys are using from home.
Again, keep your nose right between the yellow and the green, and then just go forward and back. One eye closed. If your left eye is closed, then you're looking with your right eye at the plus sign, and move your head back and forth, and you will see it disappear at some point and then reappear, because when it disappears, that's when it's being focused right on that optic nerve.
Yeah. So I'll give it another minute or so for you guys to try this out from home, and I hope it works coming through the screen and stuff like that.
Now, maybe while you're waiting for that to happen, if you've already done that, you could get a little index card like this. It doesn't have to have lines on it. And I just cut out these two holes, maybe 1.5 inches apart. And so we're going to be using that in just a moment to blow your mind. I mean, to surprise you and show you that seeing is not believing.
Okay, we have some people answering here that it works. It's happening. This for them, either the plus sign or the circle is disappearing, depending on whichever other one they were looking at.
Great. Okay.
All right, we're gonna move along here. I'm so glad you got that was able to work through the webcast today.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously this is not a hard question, right?
Right.
Which side is darker?
It's this one.
It's the one on the right.
It's the one on the right, obviously. It's very clear to me.
But if you took this, too bad they can't, there's no way we could do that, but you see that? If you take this and you put this on both sides, you will see that the two colors are identical because your eye is playing a trick on you. What happens is there's that line in the middle. Well, just before that line, if you look just to the right of that line, you'll notice it's darker than the rest of the sheet. And if you look just to the left of the line, it's lighter. And if you'll notice, that lighter part is lighter than the rest of the sheet. So the two sides, so if you wanted, you could just put your hand in the middle.
Yeah, there you go.
And you'll
Oh,
see
that's tricky.
that the left is identical to the right.
You got me on that one.
Seeing is not believing.
I can see that.
Yes, I can believe that. Okay, so if you've done that, we're going to jump right in. We're doing a lot of optical illusions today because I think they're fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the next one. Now this is
Okay.
obvious. This is obvious. You have this thing that looks like a cooler, I would say. And so you have the lid of the cooler, which is a gray, and the base of the cooler, which is a white. And of course, the gray is darker than the white. Or is it? If you again use your special tool and you put this over, you will see the two colors are identical. Now maybe what you could do is put your finger in the middle again.
With your hand or your fingers, cover up the middle kind of inch or two of that shape of that design there.
And when you do that,
they're the same color.
They're the same color.
Except for the parts that are touching each other.
Right, right. Because like in the other picture, the dividing line, you have the gray lid is much darker, but then it gets lighter. And the white base is very white right at that dividing line, but then it gets darker. And so your eyes get tricked. Your eyes get fooled into believing, because you've probably seen things like that, where there's some shading because of the light. If you look at the corner of the room you're in, you'll probably notice that one wall looks just a little bit lighter than the other because light is hitting it and it's a little brighter. That's the same type of effect.
Now, I have a prediction.
Go ahead.
I predict that it's going to get tougher and tougher to play these optical tricks on our viewers as we keep going today.
Let's just
because they're getting
see.
Smarter and smarter.
Well, hopefully we're getting smarter and smarter.
All right.
Okay.
Next one?
Next one.
Okay.
Here, this is one of my fun things. So take a look at that and look at the very center. And if you look at the very center, you might notice it looks like some of the outer rings are moving. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
So if you look just in the center, it looks like some of the outer rings are moving. Now, this is a picture. This is not a moving picture. This is a picture. And yet, this is another optical illusion. Your eyes are looking at one thing, and you're not seeing some things on the periphery, on the outside view. So this is something that scientists have been doing and people have been doing for a long time. And nobody was born knowing all of these things. We talk about science and the advancements that science is. Nobody was born a scientist, but there were people that were curious about things, and there were people that wanted to know more about things. And so they researched and they did experiments, and that's how you become a scientist. Let's jump right to the next one, because this next one's one of my favorites.
Okay.
Okay, just looks like a normal kind of a box with like crossroads on it.
Yep.
But if you look at some of the circles there, let's say you look at some circles toward the left side, the ones on the right disappear. If you focus, or you just look with one eye on some of the circles, then some of the other circles on the other side disappear. Did you try that?
I'm doing it right now, and I look over here and the ones over there are gone.
Right.
And I look over here and the ones over there are gone. And in the middle, they're kind of like in the middle of disappearing.
Yeah.
And then the closer I look at them, the more they're there. And then the less I look at them, the less they're there.
And if you move back a little, you might be able to see more of them. But the closer you get, when you start looking at one side, the little circles on the other side disappear.
Now, I need to fix one thing real quick because I had a typo.
Thank you, James.
There we go.
That was my
That was
typo.
going to bother me for the rest of the broadcast if I did not fix that right then. Because I know that some of you saw that and were thinking, man.
There they go again.
That's a typo.
Guilty as charged. Okay, so this, again, is interesting. Your eyes are playing tricks. Now, sight is such an important sense. It's probably the most important sense you have. But your eyes can play tricks on you. Mm-hmm. Okay, your eyes are not perfect. Your eyes don't see well as certain other animals, which we might get to later on when we discuss that. Okay, yeah. Any comments you want to bring up, James?
I mean, there's a ton of people commenting in here. Thank you so much. Even if I'm not reading out the things that you put into the Q&A box, I'm definitely depending on them to know, like, is this working for you? Is this not working for you? I can tell that this isn't coming through. Not all these illusions are coming through perfectly for all of you. And I'm sorry about that. And I was worried that that might happen. You know, some of you are watching this on a nice big monitor. Some of you are watching this on an iPad. Some of you are watching this on your phone. So depending on the size of the screen and how the colors on that screen work, this will come through with more or less success. But I hope that enough of these are working that it's interesting to you guys. And just learning, even if it doesn't work for you right now, still learning that like this thing will have this effect when viewed in a certain way, and using that to figure out the strengths and weaknesses of the eye.
And you can go online later on after this broadcast and check out some optical illusions yourself.
Yep.
Okay, what do we have next, James?
All right. Whoa, okay.
I like this. This is really, if you're into squares and rectangles, this is the thing to do. However, there are some circles there. Can you see any circles? You probably can because you've seen the next slide.
Yeah.
There are circles there. See if you can take a minute and spot some circles. They're very obvious. They're not, well, they sort of blend in, but they're obvious circles.
I can choose to see squares.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
I can choose to see circles.
Right.
Holly says 16 circles. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, good job. There are circles there. And there are, now for those of you, we'll give you another minute.
Yeah, Sarah says, well, I can see the circles, but when I do, the rectangles disappear. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, man. And now there's circles, and now there's squares, and now that, whew. Okay.
Optical illusions.
That's amazing.
Okay. So let's go to the next slide. So we'll show viewers. There they are.
There's the circles.
With red around them.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can see the circles. So I hope you're having fun with this.
I'm having fun. Hartley says that this one is his favorite.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing.
Now, I remember there was a certain time when I was growing up that my friends had these big books of optical illusions. There would be these patterns on it, and you would stare at it for a long time, and you would see something really complex, not just circles and squares, but there would be a sailboat, or there would be, like a whole cityscape. But you look at the thing, and it just looks like a totally normal pattern. And for a long time, like 2-3 years, I couldn't see anything out of those books. And I would be looking and say, yep, I definitely see the, car, but I didn't. And then one day I was looking at it, and I was just kind of like half paying attention.
And there it was.
And there it was.
There's one that I like. I didn't include in this show, in this webinar, but it's my wife and my mother, and it's the same picture. And you'll look at it one way, and it's a young girl, and you'll look at it the other way, and it's an old woman.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so you'll see lots of things like that. You can go on the internet, and you'll see these stairways leading to nothing, and these, does this get higher, or does this get lower, or is this in the foreground, or is this in the background? And it's kind of hard to tell because your eyes are playing tricks. And if you have a two-dimensional page, something with just width and height, sometimes your eyes get confused about how deep something is. So that's why if you're seeing a picture of a railroad track, it looks like the railroad tracks are coming together. Of course, they never are, but that's just the optical illusion to help you, because when you really see it in real life, it seems like, because they're farther and farther away, it seems like they get closer and closer. So this is another example of how your eyes can see things, and it's hard to see parallel lines, for instance.
Yeah.
They see things not exactly the way it is. Let's jump.
Well, yeah, April's very excited. She says, next one. Okay, April.
Here we go.
You got it. Nope, that's the last one. There we go. There we go.
So obviously, these blue lines are not parallel. Obviously. Isn't that obvious?
Yeah, I knew because you were saying it that it wasn't so. I squint my eyes and I
So if you squint your eyes, if you sort of close your eyes and barely have it open, but isn't this a great optical illusion?
What if I cover one eye and rub my tummy?
Well, then you'll feel happy, but it's not going to affect the way you're looking at things.
Wow.
But if you sort of close your eyes so they're just barely open, and you'll move back or forward a little bit, you could see that these lines are, in fact, parallel.
And Sarah says they're moving. Yeah, they kind of move for me too.
Yeah,
when I change and I start looking at a different part of it, the other part of it kind of moves a little bit.
Yep. Okay. How are we doing so far? This is a great one. So look at this close up and you'll see lots of little colored circles, and her eyes look kind of strange. But the further back you go,
it's a person.
It's much clearer.
Much clearer.
When you get up close, it really looks bizarre, especially around the eyes.
Yeah.
But when you move further and further and further back, it's a person.
I've seen photos made up of thousands of individual photographs. Each one is its own photograph, but they're all put together in a way that makes a larger picture.
Right. This is the same type of thing.
Yeah.
So our eyes see pixels, or, little on the computer screen, they're pixels. They're little dots of color. But as you go further and further and further back, they sort of blend in, and your eyes see them differently.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
You guys having fun with this, I hope?
Sure seems like it from what we got coming in on the Q&A section.
All right, good. All right, so what do we have next? Let's see. Okay. Here's again where you can use your little handy dandy 2 holes in your index card, and A and B. We're talking about square A, which isn't really a square, it's sort of a diamond shape, but that's another story. Or square B. So if I'll do this. They're identical.
And once again,
they're identical. You wouldn't think, because your eyes are used to seeing these things. Yeah, that's how you have something in the way and there's a shadow, but it's really white or it's really gray, except A and B are the same color. If you don't believe this, you get your little index card, you punch a couple of holes in it about 1.5 inches apart. You put it over those, that square A and the square B, and you will see that they are identical.
Yeah. My mind knows from the check pattern that it's supposed to be light, dark, and so on.
Right.
And my mind takes the rest of that pattern and it puts it out through the rest of it. And it tells me, good, this is what you can expect over here.
That's right. So you're welcome to, if you don't quite see it or you don't have this high-tech device, which you can use to cover off everything else, I guess you could do it that way. And
see, even when I just cover so on some of the earlier illusions, like with the cooler and stuff like that, I was able to cover just the middle part, and I could really easily tell that the top and bottom were the same color. Yeah. This one, even if I just cover the middle bit, B still looks lighter than A. It does. Oh, so I have to cover up pretty much the entire pattern.
That's why you can use something like this, make something like this, and check out optical illusions online later on.
Mm-hmm.
So this next one is a really terrific one.
Bah!
How many different colored, I could call them balls or objects,
Uh-huh.
how many different colors do you see?
Okay.
I see the greenish,
Right.
and I see like a
We already know this
bluish,
is a trick.
and I see the reddish.
Yeah, some of them are reddish, some are
Bluish,
green, some are blue.
green. Right. So
Ish.
Are,
Or are they?
or are they? It looks like we have 3 different colored balls or balloons or whatever they are.
Yep.
Well, if you'll notice, let's say
Lorna and Sarah and Ethan and Isis and a number of others. I think they're on to you.
they're on to me.
Yep. Chris.
Curses.
Yep. Chris they're all the same color.
They're all the same color. What makes them
We got them, guys. We got them.
What makes them look different, on the top left, for instance, that one that looks a little greenish, there are green lines going through. On the one that looks a little reddish, there are red lines going through. And so your eyes use that as a guide. And if you, again, you can use something like this. And when you do, you'll discover all of those balls are identical.
Yep. Lorna and Aubrey and yep. You guys are right. Same color. I think if we went through and we took out all the strips of color and we just left the balls there, they would be the exact, we would all see the exact same colors
Exactly.
there. Yep.
Okay, let's go
Partly
to the next
asked
one.
if we could go back to the last one for a moment.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. I'm going to leave that there for just a moment so that we can get another look at that. This one was trickier for me.
But
Even
when
after I
go like
knew
that,
Even after I knew logically that they were the same color, I still see B.
it's hard to see. That's why I recommend this high-tech device that I have made,
Super high tech.
sparing no expense. Okay, so you could try this at home. Just get it doesn't have to be an index card. It could be any piece of paper. You could use a hole punch or just cut out little rectangles the way I did, and you'll be able to see that the colors are the same. The same thing with the two with a half and the other half, or the of different colors, or the ones that I described as the cooler.
Yeah.
The gray and white cooler. You'll be able to use this and see easily.
There we go. And when we're done here today, if you guys want more optical illusions, go to Google Images, search optical illusions. There are endless ones out there.
And it will blow your mind or surprise you, as the case may be. Okay.
How many colors do you see?
Well, I
mean,
see,
technically, I see 3 colors: red, green, and blue in everything that I ever look at.
What about the white?
And everything.
Oh, yeah.
And every
Yeah.
color is a combination of those 3 colors.
That's
but I know that's not the answer that you're
That's
looking for.
not the answer that I'm looking
Right.
for.
That makes you happy as a science teacher, not as the person trying to do this right now.
How
Okay.
many colors do you see? I
3.
see
4. Wait. There's more. They're changing. And it's moving, depending on where I look at it. Okay. The pinks are the same.
The
Sarah
pinks are all the
says.
same,
Chris
yeah.
sees 3. Aubrey sees 4. Gianna sees 2. Yeah. 3 if you include white.
right.
Yep. Okay. Good.
So you have white,
Good, Isis.
you have green, and you have this
Purple.
purple.
Purpley purple.
But when the purple have that green background, your eyes see it a little different.
Yeah.
There are 3 colors there.
Good job, guys.
Okay.
All right.
How many triangles do you see?
No.
I see Mrs. Pac-Man.
I see 3 Pac-Men.
Yes.
Pac people.
Pac people.
Okay. So, I mean, what answer do you want here?
I'm just, how many triangles do you see?
Okay. I have to give Lorna's comment in here. You guys should wear green on the wear whatever wacky outfit you can come up with day. Do we have?
When is?
So that's
That's
Friday.
Oh, I do a broadcast on Friday.
Good. All
But
right.
I'll be with Simon on Friday. James will be doing other things.
Or will I be standing in the background wearing like a completely head to toe green outfit the entire time?
We'll see.
Or
Tune
you
in.
won't. Optical illusions.
Right. So how many triangles do we see? Do we have any answers? How many
Okay.
triangles we see?
0, 2, 6, 4, 6, 1, 8,
Wow.
7. Nope. 8. 0, There's a lot of answers, and I think
What do you think, James?
they're all correct. However many triangles they see is however many they see.
Well,
And that's the question. How many
technically-
triangles do you see?
Technically, a triangle has to have 3 sides.
And none of these do.
None of them do.
This one just has outlines.
It has an outline.
It has they're
Well,
there.
It's just a white.
And then we just assume.
We assume your eyes sort of fill in the blanks, and you assume that there's something in front, but there are actually no triangles, nothing with 3 sides in that picture. Your eyes are playing tricks on you again.
Silly eyes. But then again, isn't it nice that you don't have to see all of something to know that it's all there? That you're intelligent enough that you can see the front half of your cat peeking around the door, looking if you're gonna, if you're putting food in its dish, and you know that the rest of the cat is there. It's not that the rest of the cat isn't there. You're like, do you have a tail? Woo! Still has a tail and its hind legs. That's
Right.
so good. I'm
Or
relieved.
if I had a pen and I hold the pen up so that it's slightly out of the picture, you'd still know, if you could see this part, that it's a pen.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't think it ends right where my finger does. Or if I put my hand up here and you can't see the top of my hand, you would assume I have a hand coming out of my sleeve.
Yeah. Lorna says, "Arg!" I agree.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're getting the result that I had hoped for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when all of this is said and done and we're all able to go around and visit places again, Lorna, you can come on up and you can say "Arg" to Marty's face in our science lab.
Yes.
We would be happy to have you. Whoa!
Okay. So,
Wow.
the image was created by a Japanese neurologist. Neurologist is a person that studies nerves and that sort of thing. If the image is still, you're calm. I guess it's not that still.
I'm never calm.
Like that. If it's moving a little bit, you're stressed a little, or if it's a carousel spinning around quickly, you need bed rest.
Okay, so it's not a carousel spinning around. And
But
I
I
don't
see it
feel
moving a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely see it moving. I don't feel stressed. I do feel excited. I feel a heightened sense of emotions and interest about things.
Okay.
And that's just how I move through life.
Yes, but it's very strange. Again, it's an optical illusion. Your eyes think something's moving.
Oh, yeah.
If you focus on the ball, it looks like that shape that sort of looks like 2 funnels coming together in the middle. Looks like it's moving.
Yeah.
If you look at the 2 funnels, it looks like something else is moving.
Sarah says, well, apparently I'm very stressed. Me too, Sarah. Lorna says it's going so fast. Holly says it's going fast and then slow. April says it moves and then it stops.
If you look at the ball, or again, here's the thing.
What
Is that a ball?
appears to be a ball.
It appears to be a ball. Your eyes see it as a ball. It's actually just a bunch of colors.
Yep. Aubrey says it's moving and she feels excited. And Gianna says, ugh. Isa says it's so slow. I love that we're all seeing something a little bit different. And if I know that the guy that made this says if you see it moving and spinning, it means you're stressed. I am going to disagree with that. I know he's the neurologist. He's the one that made this. But I also know that I feel totally comfortable and not stressed out right now. But I do have a sense of like, I want to make sure that this webinar goes well for you guys. I don't feel bad about it. I feel excitement. Like
excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I get the amazing opportunity to share in these optical illusions with you, to be fooled by Marty or not, and to share education and interest and superhero day and all this stuff with you guys. So if you want to call that stress, that's fine. I'm excited.
I'm excited to be with you all the time.
Yeah. And so if this is spinning around like a carousel for you, good.
Good for you.
I'm glad that you have that much excitement.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And if it's still for you, then I'm glad that you are in a calm place.
Yeah.
That's
so
really good too.
it could be stress but it also could be just excitement that makes it spin around fast.
Right. Ethan says it doesn't move when I'm looking directly at it, but when I'm reading, it is moving.
Yeah.
Probably because my brain is stressed from this. You're stressing us out, Marty.
That's my job.
All right.
Okay, let's move on. Now, this is a little different, this next one. Here, take a look at that. So what's that about?
Well, my inner editor took out the second U.
Yes. There are
Think you
two
can't be
U's
fooled?
When you read, you're reading the think you, and then you come to the next line, there's you again, and your brain says, oh, you already read that. But there are two U's. Think you can't be fooled. You just were, read it again.
That one's fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That's not the one I thought would come up, but it was fun.
That one?
Let's do that one.
Okay.
So remember
that
earlier,
one is coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Earlier we were talking about rods and cones, and remember the rods show you the different shades of light or dark, and the cones help you see different colors. Now, there are some people that don't see colors as well as others. And
I had an uncle like that. He couldn't see red and green different from each other.
I have a me like that.
Really?
I am red-green colorblind. I look at this first top left, I see nothing. I can't see any. I can see the bottom one is a 7.
Mm-hmm.
And if you move that, I'll see. What can I see?
Good,
there?
yeah.
That is also a 7, but I see no 7 in
You don't see a 7 on that upper left
Nope,
one?
nope,
Interesting. Okay.
because the cones, not the cones, the cones. The cones in my eye don't see certain colors. And this is something that's hereditary. You get it from your parents.
You're born with it.
Right, you're born with it. So my grandfather was red-green colorblind. My mother was not. This is my mother's father was. My mother was not, but she was a carrier because my one brother is colorblind as well as I am, and another brother is not red-green colorblind.
Interesting.
So this is something you might have heard of the term skipping a generation. So this is something that skips a generation. My grandfather had it, my mother didn't have it, my brother and I have it, but my other brother doesn't. So this is something that you inherit from your family. I've heard some people say they go crazy because they inherit it from their family. Their folks. Anyway, that's a bad joke. Okay, so can you all see the 7? I hope.
Yeah, our Q&A box was blowing up with people. They see 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7.
Great.
Lots of 7s.
Okay.
3 7s.
Okay, and I sort of see an A over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we're coming up to this other one.
So this one, so you are red-green colorblind.
Easier for you to say.
No, it's not. Red-green colorblind, right?
I have a tough time with certain shades of green, and shades of brown. I have difficulty telling the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why to this day, my wife puts out the clothes that she wants me to wear because she caught me one day and she said, oh, you're not wearing that. So
you're like, whoa, what's wrong with this?
Yeah, what's wrong with this? This looks fine. No, polka dots and stripes do not go. Anyway.
All right. So yeah, so this one you can see, and this is more of like a purple blue thing.
Right.
So these wavelengths of light you don't have a problem with.
I can see teal and I can see like a purple blue.
Yeah. Oh, and Isis mentioned that she sees other things behind it. There are little words kind of superimposed.
Really?
They're also on there because this is an image that we just borrowed from online. And the company or the person that made it, that's their like trademark thing on it.
Okay.
Saying like, hey, you're using our image, and that's
but we're doing it for educational purposes.
That's right.
And it is free.
Ooh, look at this. Okay. Do I see all
I
these?
can see the 7, 8, 9, 12, 14, 15.
Okay.
Woo!
All right. So there's enough colors going on there that your red-green colorblindness was able to work with that. I guess there's nothing It's like red and blue,
Yeah, red and blue, I'm fine.
Green and gray.
You know, there are some people that are totally colorblind that can't see any colors.
Yeah.
That just see in different shades of gray, like an old black and white movie or black and white TV show. That's all they can see. And we'll get into maybe if we have time, how animals see as well.
I don't know about any of you, but my dad at one point definitely tried to trick me that black and white movies were, you know, like that's just how the world looked back then. And then color was invented.
That was before color was invented, yes.
And then I'm like, that's so mean. Why would he try to trick me? You know, I caught on to it really quick. And then when I had my kids, I was like,
you're doing the same thing.
Hey guys, guess what?
Okay.
Back then, it was everything. Okay.
So on this one, I don't see any number. I don't see a number. I'm assuming you do.
I do. And let's see. The Q&A box. What do all of you see? Okay.
So if you don't see a number, it could be you're red-green colorblind like moi.
Okay, good. Well, we got plenty of people seeing stuff. They see the number 26. That's the first number that I saw as well.
26. I don't see 26.
Plenty of people also see an 88, which when I look for that, I also see that.
Wow, I see nothing. I see a bunch of dots.
Yeah. 96 with the weird loop thing on the bottom.
Wow.
Okay.
Isn't that fascinating?
Oh, yeah. I could see the 96 too if I kind of yep, okay, good.
Doesn't help.
Great, guys.
Okay, we have another one here. Oh, we're up to this one. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're missing, I have a couple of things that, okay, let's go to the next one.
Okay, great. Good.
Remember we were talking earlier about how animals might have different ways of seeing color. Well, here's the colors that humans can view. You might have heard of Roy G. Biv. That's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And that's what humans can see. Dogs, not so much. Dogs can sort of see ultraviolet, which we can't see.
That's interesting.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And, you know, we were talking last week about sounds. Dogs have sounds, can hear sounds that we don't hear, and they can see things that we don't hear. But look at how they can see yellows, barely yellows at all.
Interesting.
And red, not so much. Is that red or a brown?
That's like a brown.
That's a brown.
Yeah.
So dogs can see that. Green, nothing. No green.
Yeah.
So isn't that interesting? And then these, the light wavelengths, that's just the measure of, you know, light is a wave. And so different colors have different wavelengths, different, you know, some are bigger waves, some are smaller waves. They're all very, 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 very tiny, but there is a difference. And so that's what that wavelength is showing you.
Yeah. Lorna says, poor dogs.
Poor
now,
dogs.
So dogs can't see as well as humans can, but we can't smell anywhere near as good as dogs can.
I have that coming up if we have time.
Oh, good. Yeah. I read a book one time from the viewpoint of the dog, and the dog just felt really, he was like, poor humans. They can't
smell.
They can't smell stuff.
Well, dogs, so a dog cannot see that question mark. I can see that question mark.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one.
Good.
So here are what dogs see compared to what you see.
Right.
And what I see.
So they can still see, it's just not in the same colors.
But they can smell, their sense of smell. There are dogs, of course, you might have heard of dogs that sniff for drugs, okay, or dogs, bloodhounds. If there's somebody escapes from prison, they send the bloodhound out. They, you know, put the smell of the bed sheet or whatever in his nose, and they go find that guy.
Yep.
You can't smell a thing. And
or if there's a missing person, you know, someone goes out for a hike and they don't come back, and you're like, okay, here's their shirt.
And the dogs can track them.
Find Timmy.
And I also read about this one time, dogs were trained to smell cancer cells.
Yes, disease.
Some cancer cells, disease. And so they were trained when they don't say, yeah, that guy has it. No, what happens is when they smell that smell, they lie down And that tells the person running the experiment that that person has
Mhm.
cancer or the disease.
There's some people that have an illness where they get seizures, like their body will start to shake uncontrollably. And they don't know that one of these seizure attacks are coming, but the dog can smell it
Wow.
before it happens. There's stuff in the body's starting to give off certain chemicals and stuff like that, and the dog can smell it several seconds before the human knows that anything is wrong.
Wow.
And they give a signal, and it helps the person out.
That's like the earthquake. You know,
Yeah.
animals can sense an earthquake coming.
Yep.
That's another story. We have time for a
Okay.
few more.
Yeah.
Again, what
So-
dogs can see versus what humans can see.
Yeah.
Beautiful colors
Wow.
on those birds.
Yeah.
But
Well, to us. That's how
To
I know
us.
that you are not a dog.
the pressure's off. Okay.
Unless you're like, look at those colors on the right. It's beautiful.
Oh,
right.
yes. Yesterday we were talking about
Snakes.
how snakes can see heat.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what humans see for that cute little rodent. Could be a mouse or a vole or
Mhm.
something like that. And this is what a snake would see, would sense.
Yeah.
It has these, it can see heat. Heat is called infrared. So a campfire is giving off heat, which is infrared radiation. So we have phones and various other instruments that'll tell us when something is giving off infrared heat, but snakes have that ability.
Yeah.
This is a cuttlefish. You might feed a cuttle bone to your parakeet or bird. So the cuttle bone comes from this cuttlefish. They can only see shades of gray, no cone cells, rod cells only.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go quickly because I realize we're a few minutes over time here, but I want to finish sharing the rest of these slides that Marty put together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here are bees. Bees also can see differently. They want to know about nectar, and they want to know what's on that middle part. And so they see things differently than we do. This is just so amazing.
That's so cool. This is what we see,
Right.
and this is what the bee sees.
Right.
It's like a target.
Yeah. Yeah.
Food here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ah, and this is one. Cats have more rod cells, so they can see better at night. So the bottom is sort of what a cat sees. The top is what humans see. So that's why cats are good night hunters.
Mm.
And this is true not only for alley cats and house cats, but for lions, tigers, and leopards and that sort of thing. They hunt at night,
That's cool.
and they just can see better. It's sort of like they have their own night vision goggles.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thanks for joining us once again. It was so nice. I'm glad you could visit, and I'm glad we could share some information with you and maybe entertain you and show you some things that you didn't think about before. And what I'd like you to do is remind you, you have this opportunity, you have the world at your fingertips. Stay curious. Curiosity is the cure for boredom. So get curious about something and you'll never be bored. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on Friday.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a good day.